This is Chuck Rowe from Midwest Studies Group. Thanks for joining us again for another edition of our video series. Today, we're going to have a panel discussion to talk about the unique experiences that have affected local Boys and Girls Clubs during the pandemic and what the new normal looks like for them. I'm just going to start off with our panel, just going around and taking a moment to introduce themselves and where they're from.
I'll start. My name is Jeff Goodnight, and I am the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Franklin, Simpson, and Allen County, Scottsville. We are located about 40 miles north of Nashville, Tennessee, right on the Kentucky line. We're in Kentucky, and we're in the Midwest region of the Boys and Girls Clubs. I've been in this role for 15 years now, and I wholeheartedly say I got the best job in the world.
Well, I'm Glen Marshall. I am the executive director of the Boys and Girls Club of Rosebud. We're located here in South Central South Dakota on the Rosebud Indian Reservation, serving the Sicangu Lakota Nation. We're not part of the tribe, though. We're a traditional club underneath Native Services. I've been in this role for about 7 years now, and I wholeheartedly agree with Jeff. Best job in the world.
I'm Arielle Perry, and I'm the CEO for the Boys and Girls Club of Leflore County in southeast rural Oklahoma. I have been in this role about almost 5 years now, so I guess I'm the baby CEO. But I will agree with both of them. It's definitely, it's a hard, taxing job, but it is the best job there is.
You bet. So excited to have all of you on here with us today. The tough thing about being at a club, and especially last year, is that you're told you have to shut down maybe for a little bit, but your heart says, okay, where are all these kids going to go? Maybe you could walk us through what was that decision-making process like, and what made you finally decide that you had to shut the doors down for a little bit?
For us, I just won't forget this. We were at our area council and youth of the year speeches and everything, and it literally, you watched all these games and everything get canceled, and you knew something was coming up. We immediately come back to the club and like, okay, something's going to happen. And then it got shut down, and really didn't have a choice. We were told you're going to close. And the first thing through my mind was, I already knew what our kids experienced, being able to go to school and being able to come to the club, the hardships and stuff that they faced, and not being able to come to club. I knew it was going to be even worse. And as it got longer and longer, I knew those things were going to get worse and worse, and that we had to make sure that we were available in any way, shape, or form to make sure that we could access our kids. And so immediately we went virtual, and we changed on a dime. We made phone calls to our families and our kids. We made sure we talked to our kids just to make sure they could have a voice and an outlet to talk.
I would say ours was similar. It was spring break was ending here as everything started to shut down, and again, we didn't have a choice either. We were told we had to shut down. But I was pretty determined to keep our staff working and keep our kids at least getting what we could provide. So we called kids every week. We checked in with some of them multiple times a week, just to make the ones we were most concerned with. We made house visits, socially distanced house visits. We got a few micro grants and some donations together and went grocery shopping and delivered food every week to as many of our kids as we possibly could. I spent probably 6 or 7 hours every Friday driving around the county, delivering food to families and whatever else they needed. And we also sent postcards. And then we did do the virtual thing too. A lot of our kids don't have internet access, so it didn't work quite as well for us, but we did offer that too.
Yeah, similar for us. In March there, our tribal government shut down, and then our schools shut down. And so we certainly had to follow suit in line with those. And our immediate thing was, we're going to really try not to lay anybody off. We're going to try to find ways we can still serve in a flexible way during this time, similar to what Arielle and Jeff said. So for us, a lot of that was meal distribution. Right away, we were at a meeting with the school and with some other local organizations. So we were giving out several hundred meals a day right away, sack meals, breakfast and lunch. So that was a big effort. And then transitioning, as Arielle said, we also lack a lot of internet access in our area, and I wish that could have got online faster. It got a little better. The school provided some more access as the pandemic went on, but we switched to virtual learning, and then also remote learning, delivering packets every week to every club member we could find, academic packets. Those really had some mixed success. Maybe that'll be a different question later on, but just finding different ways to serve and keep the staff together too. Try to take care of them. It was stressful. You know, we're open, we're closed. One thing's working, another thing's working. For a couple of weeks, at different times, we had more severe lockdowns where staff couldn't be at work because there was, you could get fined for being out in public for a couple of weeks there when it was really bad. So certainly an interesting leadership experience for us.
Well, when you talk about like the virtual things that you're doing, and maybe one of you would like to describe a little bit more in detail what you were doing virtually, but when you talk about virtually, some of the visits you were doing house to house, Arielle, that's really awesome to hear that you were doing that. But some of the things that you were interacting with other folks, what were you hearing from the kids and the parents and the family members when they would see you after not seeing you in person for a while?
I think they were grateful to see faces that they were familiar with and able to reach out and connect. You know, similar to Glen, we did the packets and things also, and we also made the videos for STEM project, different things out in the community for the ones who did have access, and we had the packets for ones who didn't. But the another aspect to that we did, we found that parents were having a hard time doing this online virtual school, and they needed help because, you know, they needed the help to help their kids. And, you know, being a father, I've gone through the 4th grade math, and I help kids here every day, and they come in there like, Mr. Jeff, that's not how you're supposed to do that. I'm like, well, this is it, sir, but this is not how you're supposed to do it. So we offered homework help during the day for the kids, but we also did homework hours at night for the parents where they could come on and get the help that they needed and sit with their child and do that. So, you know, just being able to see people who they know are out there willing to help and care about them, and friendly faces, especially for the kids, I think was huge.
And what about in 2019? You think of like maybe the fall or the winter before COVID started getting really big. Now, I mean, I was a former CEO at a club. I know how it is. You're always thinking of new programs and new ideas that you want to start with the kids. And you're like, gosh darn it, we're starting this new program. We're going to roll it out. And then all of a sudden COVID came and says, nope, guess you're not going to start this program now. What is that maybe 1 or 2 programs that you were super excited to get started that you had to put the pause button on?
A couple of those for us. We had a grant to go do some visits to national parks in our area, so that got shut down. So travel was too much, but they were very flexible with that to let us delay it by about a year. So we're still going to do that in the fall here, go to Badlands National Park a couple times. And then we had a PBS grant to implement some science curriculum. Same thing with that one. They were very flexible. All of our kind of partners have been very flexible with us if we need to delay things or switch them kind of virtual. So like with that one, we were able to buy a number of tablets with the money and encourage kids to do some of the PBS curriculum at home. And now we're going to be starting that just now as Summer Club began yesterday. So we're going to be implementing about a 10-week curriculum now that should have been in 2020, but kids got some benefit then, and then we're going to implement the heart of the program now.
Well, we opened our new site January 6, 2020. And to go into a community, you know, one of the things the obstacles that we face with that is that in this community, they've been promised a lot of things and they've been let down. And I heard that over and over again. And they're like, if you tell us you're going to open, you make sure you open and you follow through. And so we worked really hard. We're excited. We opened January 6th. We opened to about 75 kids. And in a week, we had like 130 kids. And so it was great. That the first month was awesome. Second month's awesome. 1st of March, bam, closed. and so, you know, we did everything that we could. We're delivering meals with the school system and making sure that they're seeing Boys and Girls Clubs is here and they're going to continue to help. And we've been fortunate that they came back and they really like the club and the things that we offer. So it was a challenge when you're opening a new club and then you get shut down.
For us, I can't really think of a program we didn't get to have, just kind of postponed. We didn't stay shut down for, I don't know, a few months. We didn't stay shut down as long as a lot of others. I was pretty insistent that we open back up as soon as possible because a lot of our kids, what they need is just our space, not, you know, they might need the food, but they really need the safe space. And so we did all the safest things we could come up with to do to keep everybody safe. And praise God, we had no breakouts or anything happen here, but we just opened. We just said, forget it.
Yeah.
We're gonna be here for them, and we're gonna do this. So it was scaled down quite a bit, and our club is not very old compared to most. Our club space is small, so we didn't get to open it to all of our kids, but we did the best we could with what we had and served as many kids as we could.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, one of the things I would always remember after the school year or maybe after the summer, maybe shutting down for a week or so just to kind of clean the place up again, get the staff some time off. And to be honest with you, that week was kind of nice because it was kind of quiet. You got to get some work done. But a week's one thing. A month or 2 months or longer is something much different. And I guess the question I have for you guys is if you could think of just one thing, what's that one sound in the club that you just missed hearing the most with it not being full?
Laughter, that's easy. Laughter, always.
Well, the constant noise, you get used to it, you hear it, and then when it's gone, you're like, oh my God, it's too quiet in here. It's just the constant hearing of noise, laughter, whatever, moving up and down the halls, just the noise.
Yeah, it could get you down a little bit. I miss those loud games in the games room and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. You're trying to work and you hear pool balls dropping and things like that. You kind of miss that sound after a while. So,
Yeah.
well, Glenn, you kind of touched upon this before, and I know this was a huge experiment for everybody virtually, and or if you're doing things remotely for clubs all across America. So it was an experiment for everybody. I guess I want to start out with what's one experiment that maybe you tried that was just a flop? It just did not work as well as you hoped it would.
Yeah, sending home academic packets. Both us and the school, it was a good effort, and there's maybe 10% of kids that really engage, but that was about it. Kids didn't have the support or maybe the motivation for that. So we did it the whole time while we were closed, and maybe more was happening than we thought, but sending home academic packets didn't work real well.
We sent home in our grocery bags, we sent like STEM projects and art projects, just specific for whatever week it was. Also partially to give them something other than a school packet to do. And some of them, I don't know how many of them did it. I mean, I have no idea. I know a few whose parents are involved in our social media would, send us a picture and say, hey, my kid completed your nature scavenger hunt, or, whatever we put in there that time. So it might have been a total flop. I have no idea.
I can't really think anything off the top of my head that was a total flop. I'm sure we had some things, but everybody was just doing the best they could.
Yeah, for sure. MSG, we focus on fundraising, feasibility studies, annual and planned giving studies, things like that. We're all about relationships and connecting people with donors. And, just curious, what was it like keeping in touch with your donors, maybe some of your events that you had? What was that situation like during the past year for you?
I'll be really honest, when it hit, I was really, really nervous about funding and about donors and everything, but our donations were the highest they were ever been last year after COVID. And one of the things that I think helped was we we made sure that we sent out a biweekly newsletter to our donors, showing them the things that we were doing. We made sure that we were with the partner with the school system and the county and the city, and that every time they talked about something, they mentioned the Boys and Girls Club. They're doing this and they're doing that. And I really think that helped, was just making sure that we stayed involved. And even though our doors were closed, we didn't shut down. And that was huge for our donor base.
Yeah, similar to Jeff, we had a lot of concerns, you know, in March and April and stuff, but we had a great year, fundraising wise. People were very generous to us, and similar to Jeff, we just made sure to showcase that we were still open, and there were kind of a lot of new things we were trying to do at different times. Hey, this new virtual thing, we're sending home seed packets and kids are growing plants. And I think some of that was engaging for people, and people's generosity was engaged during the pandemic in a pretty good way for us.
I don't know that ours went up, but we did have a lot of blessings in disguise, I guess, when like the CARES Act funding and all of those things with our Oklahoma Alliance. Our Alliance director worked to get all of us funding. And so we were able to, you know, I was nervous. I was like, I didn't know how we were going to get through the year. But because of that, we were able to very successfully get through the year.
Whether it's opening up more for kids or just opening up in general, a lot of clubs across the country are trying to do that more and more. Within like maybe, let's say, 3 or 4 sentences, finishing off with this last question here, what advice would you give those clubs as they're starting to open up more and more?
I would say stay with the mission. I mean, our mission is to serve the kids and their families, and we have to do what's best for our organization and our mission. So whatever it takes, right?
Wholeheartedly agree, Arielle. That's exactly right. It's make it all about the kids, whatever's best for the kids.
A mission first, always. And for us, that looks like trying to serve every kid. Part of that is making everyone feel safe. You know, some families are more careful, some are less, but we're going to try to get everyone in here. So, you know, really broadcasting those safety things that we're doing. We're trying to have as many, you know, pretty much full capacity, but here's how we're keeping your kids safe while we're doing it.
As we finish off here, first off, thank you for being part of this discussion. Really appreciate it. Don't think we could have found a better people to be part of this discussion today. So thank you so much. To everyone else, thanks for watching once again. Chuck Rowe, catch you next time.